finally rolled around, and I thought it'd be really helpful to dispel some of my thrifting knowledge and our little thrifty community for those of us who love to thrift. If you don't thrift, here's some good reasons why you should thrift that I have personally come across. I actually often find better quality when I thrift, really good brands that have either been donated. I also find that it's really budget friendly. Like, you're gonna find something that lasts and it's good quality, and it's gonna last through different seasons, and the style is sticking, unlike fast fashion. And it also helps support like little communities and other parts of the economy. You're not buying from a big chain store, you're buying from somebody who's like selling a bale, and that's going straight to their pocket, and that's really helpful. In today's video, we're going to look at things like where to thrift, budget, what to look for, and different ways that you can thrift to make sure that you get the most out of your time and money. Let's talk where to thrift. So we can actually look at a number of different places to thrift, particularly in Gaborone, but this also applies in different parts of Motswana, but I'm mainly going to focus on places that I've come across to thrift in Gaborone. We have flea markets, which is things like BBS in Main Mall, where they gather in with little stalls and then they just arrange the clothes according to what they have. We also have individual resellers. These are people who usually sell on Instagram or Facebook. They've already pre-thrifted and they found like the items for you. And then we have thrift shops, which are kind of difficult to find. Like, sometimes actually I've realized they actually mix the thrift stores with some Asian markets. Like, you'll have a section where it's just like fast fashion, and then they'll have like little sections in the back where it's thrifted items or items that are being resold. That's really helpful. They also tend to sell items that they're really trying to get rid of. So sometimes it's items that used to be sold at places like Jet or CB many seasons before, and they weren't sold. So the Asian markets will come resell them at like a super low price. And if you're a thrift flipper, you could pick that up and you can use it. Some cons of each. When it comes to flea markets, you have the pros of the fact that you literally have like an array. Like, whatever you're looking for, you can most likely find it there. Your options are not that limited, really. Anything and anything that you're looking for, you will find it if you're patient enough or if it's in season. It's also pretty budget friendly. I've noticed that when you go to places like BBS, that's the flea market in BBS, they're actually arranged by price. So when you go towards the left side, they're cheaper on that side, where you'll probably find tops starting from like 30 to 40 bucks. And then when you go towards the other end, that side, they go higher and higher in price, going up to 180 bucks. So like, they're arranged in an array of prices and quality. With resellers who sell on places like Instagram and Facebook, you have the advantage of not having to like sift through all those clothes at a flea market, and then you also have the advantage of finding higher quality in less time. But this comes usually at a cost because they had to go in and do the work themselves, so they'll like upmarket a bit. Something that may have probably costed like 50 bucks, you'll probably get it for 80 bucks from them. But if you're willing to pay for that, then it's really helpful because you don't have to go in there and sift through it for hours and hours. They just put it up there, they make it look real good, they wash it, they iron it, and you just pick it up and it's ready to wear. When it comes to thrift stores, which are actually very difficult to find in Gaborone, I mean, the pros of this is that they're pretty budget friendly. Like, they're not expensive at all, but their pickings are pretty slim. Like, they don't have that many items, particularly because they probably know that when people go into the shop, they're there for the fast fashion stuff, and when they're looking for other stuff, they just go thrift it outside. But when you do come across something really good, here's an example of something really good that I found out there. Another example. When you find something really good, it's like chef's kiss. When it comes to winter thrifting, it's actually a little different from summer thrifting, because in summer we're looking more for the lighter, flowy fabrics that will last through multiple washes but also be breathable. But in winter we're looking for thicker items that won't attract dirt easily, won't hold on to dust, but also feel really nice on the skin and insulate you really well. So here are a list of items that you should look for when you're thrifting in winter: sweaters, jackets, cargo pants and sweatpants, and thermal wear. So when it comes to sweaters, you're looking for cashmere and wool particularly. They do tend to sell a lot of polyester blends, which, I mean, they look nice for the first few times, but then like after you wash them, they develop bubbles and that's really uncomfortable. They also tend to be really scratchy if you have them like against your skin. So you try to avoid those. But if you can, look for wool and cashmere blends, because these ones are like going to stick through the washes. If you don't wash it in hot water, it shouldn't shrink and it'll feel really nice on your skin, and they're also super warm. This is an example of something that I thrifted and then I altered it. This was a men's sweater. It is a wool blend. I think I cut off the tag, but it's a blend of wool and it's lasted through multiple washes and seasons. I think I'm wearing this for like the 3rd year and I still love it. It's still in really good quality When it comes to jackets, you should probably be looking out for like the nice thick ones. I know that like the fuzzy prints are like kind of in right now, fuzzy textures. So you can look for fuzzy textures, but again, try avoiding them polyesters, because when you wash that, it's not gonna look cute. Also, I know that you might come across some that are maybe a bit sun bleached. In those terms, you can actually look at the type of material and figure out, could I re-dye this again and it will still hold intact? Try to avoid that raincoat-ish, nylonish feel. The one that makes that sound, try avoiding that, because that wears and tears really quickly, unless if it's new and either still has a tag or looks like it hasn't been worn too often. There's also two different variations of that. One of them is like a super lighter one, like when you touch it like this, you can feel probably like the other side of your finger. Then there's a thicker one that looks like it's more like workwear. That one will most likely last a bit longer. Actually, that was very durable actually, but it's not quite warm, so you'd have to insulate and wear something softer material on the inside, and that'll just block out the cold. So that's good as outerwear. You can also look for denim, but denim tends to be a bit pricier when you're looking for it. So when you look for denim, you're actually looking for a statement piece. And I can probably do a whole different video on how to look for denim jackets when you're thrifting, the good quality, the cuts, how to know that this will actually fit in with your wardrobe so you don't buy it and then you're like, what am I supposed to wear this with? But you can look for denim. Just keep in mind that it might be a bit pricier because denim jackets are currently in style and everybody's looking for them. We can also look for cargo pants and utility pants when you go thrifting for winter, particularly because these are pretty warm when you wear them with some thermal wear on the inside, and they look super drippy. They're on that streetwear, like really good. So you can look for them in neutral colors, and then you can also look for cargo pants, the ones that are not necessarily drawn in at the bottom, or actually you could go for those too. Those both slap, to be honest. But when you look for those, you know you're getting something that's really durable. You can transition it into summer as well, and it really looks cool, and you can layer lots of thermal wear under it in the winter. One more thing we're looking for again is sweatpants, which are also really in high demand in winter, so they just throw anything and anything that they can find out in the winter. We're looking for the cotton blends that are slightly stretchy but not too much, with the fluffy inner but not too stretchy. What I've discovered is that the super stretchy kind of sweatpants don't necessarily last that long and tend to come in like some not really great quality. So when it does, like when you do find sweatpants and you want, like you're looking for a super stretchy kind, they most likely need to be either pretty new or barely worn but donated or thrifted. And then when it comes to the cotton blends, you're looking for ones that are very pressed on the outside so they don't develop bubbles too easily or too quickly. And then again, the color of your choice, I usually like to go for some neutral ones, so your blacks, your grays. Once in a while you come across some blues, and those ones tend to be pretty versatile and in pretty good condition. Again, this also depends on the price and the location and where you're thrifting it from, but if you do a bit of digging, you'll find some great stuff. And last but not least, you're looking for thermal wear. So that's your polo necks, the ones that are like really close to your skin. That's your polo necks, your mock turtlenecks, your not necessarily leggings, but like the winter under layers. And then this is why I like to get super drippy with it, because when it does peek out of your sweater, it adds some pizzazz. So I like to look again for some cashmere or wool blends. This is the only part where I actually would say it's probably okay to get a cotton and polyester or nylon blend, because it needs to be nice and stretchy but also warm, because you need it to like stick to your skin and keep all your body heat close to you. I like to look for ones with sleeves that go all the way up to this part of your hand, which are very difficult to find because I don't know why a lot of sleeves are really short, but those are the best, because when you layer it under a jacket or a sweater, no matter how light-ish your sweater is, you're gonna stay pretty warm. And I also like to look for these in neutral colors, that way you can lay it under a lot of different colors. And that should about wrap it up. Same for leggings. I kind of cringe at thrifting leggings, to be honest, but if you find some really cool under thermal kind, I think sometimes people thrift stuff like Under Armour, like the sporty kind. I think those are sometimes pretty warm. Yeah, you could look for those as well. Now let's talk budgets. When it comes to budget, this is the price range that you could probably come prepared for, just so you know about how much you could get with a certain amount. For tops, you can range it between 30 to 50 bucks depending on the type of top, the brand, and what type of top it is. Summer tops or lighter tops tend to go closer towards the 30 bucks budget, and then the more, like the better quality it is and the newer it is, the closer to 50 it gets. When it comes to sweaters and shirts, you can expect for them to range between 40 to 80 bucks depending again on how good the quality is and how new or popping the brand is. And then with pants, you can expect the price range to go between 60 to 100, and when they're really popping, or the seller knows that everybody's looking for this, maybe 120. If they're really feeling themselves, 200, but you should really question if it's 200. But for pants, you can start between 60 to 100. And then when it comes to some special items, that's things that they're really trying to clear out, trying to get rid of, things that they've had on the racks for a long time that people probably aren't feeling too much. They tend to throw these like on a table, and they don't necessarily sort them into hangers. Then you like have to dig through it. But those are like, that's where you find gold. These range from 10 bucks to 30 bucks, and I've found some pretty cool stuff in there because people usually get really lazy to sift through the items that are not hung up on like the hangers. Here's an example of something really cool I found. It went for, was it 15? I think it was 15 bucks. And I was like, what? 15? Why? Because it wasn't hung up. People were not seeing the vision. Last but not least, let's talk how to thrift, or the method of thrifting, because there's an art to finding some really good stuff. So one of the first things that I usually do advise people to do is just to be really patient with it. Like, thrifting is an art, but art takes time and patience. So if you're really looking to find some really great stuff, you need to have it within you to know what you're looking for, have the vision in your brain, and then go in really patiently and just sift through each and every single one of them. And if it's on the table, you're going to take your time, really patiently, looking at each item, checking the brand, checking the quality, checking the little tag to see what materials it's made out of. And you're going to do this really patiently, not in a rush. Once you rush, you actually skip through the really good items, and you're just going to like skim through and be like, oh, there's nothing good here. But the good things are technically usually hidden between the terrible looking stuff. So you have to be really patient with it and take your time. Another tip is to carry a bag or a backpack. Of late, I've been using that one in the back there. It's a tote / backpack, so that you can keep your hands free for sifting and all that stuff. If you're carrying everything that you purchase, because you're usually going to find different stuff at different stalls, and your hands are going to get full really quickly. So it's really helpful to have like a spacious backpack where every time you buy a little top at one seller, you can just fold it up, put it in, keep your hands free to be ready to sift again at the next place. Also, a good tip is that you could actually listen to music so you get into the vibe with it, have your little main character moment. That also helps you like keep the tone with it. It's the same thing that they do in shops when you're shopping. You're like, ooh, I like this. So you can have your music there. Do have it at a decent volume also, so that you can hear the seller when he or she tells you the price of something, or if they see that you're really getting into it. Sometimes they'll give you like a little discount while you're sifting. They'll be like, oh, get 2 for 1 special, or like get 2 and I'll give you 1 for free, or like get 2 and I'll give you a 20 bucks discount, something like that. So you want to be able to hear that when he or she does give you one of those, or if they ask you if you need something so they can pull something special from the bag, you need to be able to hear that. So you could either have like one ear thingy in, or just keep it at a decent volume, but you need the vibes so you can, get through it. Another thing is, when you technically go thrifting, the thrift stores tend to be a bit packed, so you should be very wary of pickpockets, because that is apparently where they get the shit. That's where they get busy. So you also need to be very aware of your surroundings when you're thrifting, because if you get too into it and people are packed, that's when pickpockets are like, oh, this looking great, I can just... So be very aware of your surroundings when you go thrifting in very packed places, just so nothing goes missing while you're doing your thrifting. I believe that is all for this video. I hope this was really helpful for you. I do have a thrifting page. It's called ThriftyBW. I curate, so I'll go thrift some items so you don't have to sift through them, and I'll put them up on the page. I also thrift flip some items, so if I've seen something really cool that I haven't seen around in any shops, I'll just thrift flip it and I resell to you guys if you want to purchase there. So do check out ThriftyBW. I'll be doing a winter drop pretty soon, so you want to get first grabs on that. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!